Hey, so this is going to be a walkthrough of my gaming dome. We'll talk about how it works, and we'll pop in there and play a couple games or go through a few. Shoot this on a GoPro, so the sound quality isn't going to be that great. It's kind of hard to not get scratchy mic inputs because I'll be moving the GoPro around in there. But this is the easiest way to get some video from inside the thing. So it's tucked back in my corner of the game room, next to the kind of a pinball machine and Atari. You can see this is the seating enclosure portion, and then there's a formed dome on the back, and then we've got an entry door on this side. General idea behind this was from the Star Wars Battle Pod from Namco, also the Mock Storm at Dave & Buster's. After playing one and trying to find one, I went home and started trying to figure out how to recreate something like that. In here, just kind of looking around, we've got a seat, subwoofer, some speakers, the dome itself, and the enclosure, kind of a stand that holds a dome is bolted to the seating enclosure on the top in a couple of places, and the whole thing kind of comes apart to be moved. I'm running a PS3, a Star Wars version of an Xbox 360, and a Wii U in here for now, because those are some systems that don't require online multiplayer as much as other systems do, and each had some arcadey experiences. I'll sit you right there and crank it up. Get some stuff. I'll show you some things here. So, remote control for the projector. Projector is in this design is behind the dome itself instead of behind the player, as in the professional cabinet analog. Projector's an Optimo. I forget the model, but it's a 3D 1080p, a pretty significant lumen rating, and I'm pretty happy with it. The way we achieve kind of the effect here inside the dome is the dome is projecting onto a spherical mirror that then reflects back into the dome itself, and I don't know how this will translate on the GoPro, but the sound also has a tendency to focus back from the dome, so you get this sort of immersive experience of having the display wrap around you, and then sound is also focused back towards the player, which is pretty interesting. The professional cabinets have a projection booth behind the player that has a spherical kind of a planetarium element on the projector. Those are really expensive, and you lose brightness of the projector, and just kind of one of those things where, for I think it's about $8,000 for one, just the element itself, so that really wasn't in the cards for this implementation. Let's see, what would be a good game here? So on the PS3, Wipeout, Ace Combat, some of the classic Star Wars titles, the Pod Racer, Racer's Revenge, X-Wing Starfighter, that sort of thing are all really good. This environment is great for flight simulators and racing type games. It's a little weird for like first person and third person shooters though. Through an entire game, I'll just kind of step in and go through a couple different things to give you an idea of what it's like. Which means lots of progress bars. about a lap of that. But that's a pretty good example. Pop over to the Xbox 360. There's an HDMI switcher. It's 4K compatible, but all these input sources are 1080p 720 anyway. So as you switch one, it'll automatically switch to that console. There's also a manual switch where you can flip back and forth between them. The 360, gosh, Hydro Thunder is really good, which is part of the Xbox Live Arcade. What else? There are a couple Ace Combat derivatives which are from Namco, so those are very, very similar to Mach Storm, which was the original Dome gaming offering from Namco there. I don't know if you can tell, but from the white screens, you will see some, like, if there's dust on the mirror at your feet, you'll see a little bit of that come through in the lighter colored screens. And you know, if this was the direct projected through the super expensive element, then you wouldn't have that. This mirror isn't, it's plastic. It's kind of the type of mirror that you would use for an office safety mirror, and you know, they're pretty inexpensive. There are laboratory grade mirrors called first surface mirrors, used for like lasers, that would have an even cleaner image, but I didn't want something like that at my feet for the kids to kick, so we do this instead. So you could use this with any console. So again, this is Xbox 360, the other one's PS3, but you can use a PS4, Xbox One. It's just a lot of the newer consoles have the, you know, reliance on online gaming. It's, you know, not conducive with the arcade experience that I've had before here.
Tiger 1, you be right. Multiple contacts. All one. I have it. Gotta get it.
It's mine, guys.
I got the back, boss. You started in the air. 304, break right. Roger that. I'm on my way. Hostile is closing on city. Engage and destroy. All yours, Will. Bandits are heading toward the stadium. All you.
So if you've ever played Mach Storm, that should look pretty familiar to you. It's an Namco title, very not Mach Storm inspired. I think that level's even Miami, which is one of the first Mach Storm maps. Pop over to Hydro Thunder real quick. Mario Kart 60 or Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U is really fun too. It's very kind of like almost like a slot car experience, which is pretty cool. Hydro Thunder. Ace Combat series is excellent. Any arcadey type experience is good. Even, I guess, Star Wars Battlefront vehicle modes are fun. Again, first-person shooter, third-person. Really, it's kind of weird because of the bulbous nature. You get the distorted
Choose your track.
landscape.
Choose your move. Vector.
Again, won't play through the whole thing. I'm just kind of showing you a few examples here.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go.
We need to pick up a boost power up. Boost is armed and ready.
Subwoofer underneath the seat. The bass is pretty interesting because it kind of vibrates and rattles everything, which is pretty awesome. I don't know, I think that's a pretty good example of some different types of